All that. New Cascade Platinum with 50% more cleaning power. It dissolves fast to start cleaning sooner, releasing the soaking power of Dawn. Then, Cascade's food-seeking enzymes latch on and break down food into particles so small they can flow right down the drain. And it's powerful enough for the quick wash cycle.
New Cascade Platinum with 50% more cleaning power. The #1 brand just got better.
Happening now.
A bill that would impose stricter election laws in the state doesn't meet its deadline after Democrats walked out and blocked its passage. What Governor Greg Abbott is threatening to defund in response.
You know, when you walk around and look around, you're like, there's a lot of people that sacrifice for our freedom.
It's Memorial Day, and people at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery are honoring their loved ones. They share what today means to them. Plus, how this Memorial Day weekend signals a turning point for America's journey back to normalcy.
It feels good. It's like you feel the unity of everybody finally being able to come outside without having to worry, as much about getting sick.
And I'm watching thunderstorms popping up elsewhere across Texas that are likely to move our way later tonight. I'm going to tell you more about it, time it out, and talk about storm chances for the rest of the week coming up in a bit.
And a dangerous TikTok challenge sends one teen to the ER. How it gave her third-degree burns. The news at 5 starts right now.
First at 5, no pay for those who abandon their responsibilities. Those are the words of Governor Greg Abbott, who is threatening to veto funding for the state legislature.
Yeah, his words come after enough Democratic lawmakers walked out before the midnight deadline to pass SB 7. The bill would impose new voting restrictions similar to laws enacted in other states around the country.
Supporters are confident it will pass during a special session, but Jesse Degollado tells us opponents wanted to send a strong message by walking out.
Texas House Democrats, including those from Bexar County, say they had no choice but to walk out to keep new voting restrictions from reaching the governor's desk.
This was a show of strength. We may not have the numbers in the House, but we are a force to be reckoned with.
Walking out was the only tool that we had left in our toolbox, and we took advantage of it.
But in a tweet soon after the walkout, Governor Greg Abbott declared election integrity as one of 2 must-pass emergency items during a yet-to-be-scheduled special session. He says he expects the details to be worked out by then. Stopping SB 7 doesn't appear likely, but Representative Barbara Gervin Hawkins says she and her colleagues will try to make it better.
So it buys us time. It also allows our constituents to weigh in.
We'll have our day if it ends up getting to the federal courts.
Republican Congressman Mike McCall has weighed in, saying Texas Republicans are making sure the person registered to vote is doing the voting.
So it's a legitimate vote devoid of fraud. A lot of the American people seem to have lost faith in our government. They've lost faith in our elections that we need to restore.
Democratic lawmakers say SB 7 includes provisions that'll make it harder to vote, but make it easier to overturn election results. It's already being done in other states, but Texas Democratic lawmakers say they're the first to walk out in protest. Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
We did reach out for a reaction from Republican members of the Bexar County delegation, as well as some in surrounding counties, but as of right now, we have had no response.
New at 5, a man is in jail after he led Bexar County Sheriff's deputies on a short chase this morning. It all happened around 11 on Longing Trail, which is near Converse. The sheriff's office says deputies were watching Brandon Jamal Miller, who was a wanted fugitive. They say the deputies attempted to pull Miller over and he refused to stop for them. A chase then ensued, and at one point Miller threw a gun out the window. He ended up crashing and was taken into custody on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and evading arrest.
An update on the deadly crash we told you about earlier this month. We have now learned the name of a man killed while trying to cross Loop 1604 near Blanco Road. He's 22-year-old Roberto Gonzalez III. San Antonio police say on May 16th, he walked into the path of a white truck while attempting to cross the highway. He died at the scene. SAPD says the driver will not face any charges.
A 21-year-old man is facing charges of injury to a child after a 4-month-old was taken to the hospital yesterday with a skull fracture. Arrest records show 21-year-old Javier Leyva told investigators the baby fell to the ground after he threw the child in the air. That 4-month-old is now in the ICU. Police also learned the child's twin sibling suffered a broken rib, which may have occurred on a different date. That child has been placed with a relative. Leyva's bond set at $500,000. 2 people are dead, several others fighting for their lives tonight, and Miami police now know who they're looking for. These are the 3 gunmen who investigators say opened fire at a crowd early Sunday morning. That shooting happening at a birthday concert for a Miami rapper. Police believe 2 groups fired rounds at each other after 100 shell casings were found. More than 20 people hit by that gunfire.
We must get these killers off the streets. Gun violence is an epidemic, and the pandemic has intensified it.
So far, no one has been arrested. A reward of more than $130,000 now being offered in exchange for information that leads to an arrest.
It has now been a year since a disturbing video clip sparked a national movement calling for more police accountability and an end to systemic racism. But in the 12 months since the murder of George Floyd, what has changed and what has not? It's the topic of this week's episode of KSAT Explains. KSAT Explains 1 year later, out tomorrow night. We're going to stream it, that episode live on KSAT.com, the KSAT TV app on streaming devices, as well as KSAT's Facebook page at 7 p.m.
For many people, this Memorial Day marks a return to normalcy as millions of people traveled out of town.
The commemorative weekend comes as coronavirus cases and deaths continue to decline. ABC's Andrea Fujii with the turning point the U.S. has now come to.
Americans are hitting the roads and air this Memorial Day weekend as travelers feel more confident with coronavirus cases on a downward trend. The Indy 500 hosting 135,000 people in the stands, the largest crowd at a sporting event since the pandemic began. And as many states ease COVID restrictions, beaches and bars packed with maskless revelers.
It feels good. It's like you feel the unity of everybody finally being able to come outside without having to worry, as much about getting sick.
For the first time in over a year, the U.S. is now averaging less than 20,000 new COVID cases a day. National daily average case numbers plunging nearly 70% in the past 6 weeks, with more than 50% of American adults fully vaccinated. But daily vaccination rates are down 60% since its peak in April. And a new poll shows only 4% who want to get vaccinated as soon as possible haven't done so yet. But with promising case numbers, more Americans feeling comfortable flying again.
I haven't been home in 2 years, so whatever I got to do to get home, I'm going to do to get home.
From Thursday to Sunday, the TSA screened more than 7 million people, breaking all pandemic travel records. More than 1.5 million traveling Sunday. Monday afternoon expected to be the busiest time at airports. And with those flights came long-awaited reunions. Social media star Tabitha Brown hugging her father after being apart for over a year.
See my daddy.
About 34 million people drove to their destinations this holiday weekend. So for most major cities, late Monday is expected to be the busiest time on the roads. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Here at home, a wreath-laying ceremony held this morning to honor veterans and service members at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery. Alicia Barrera spoke with the families visiting their loved ones about what today means to them.
Stride by stride, and with a tight grip on his waving salute, an emotional Johnny Silva honors his ultimate heroes, including his father.
It's about the people who sacrifice their life for our freedom. It's not about barbecuing. It's about family. Sacrifice. It's not about a sale.
The customized flag embodies his mission that he carries on Memorial Day throughout the Fort Sam Houston as well as San Fernando Cemetery.
I hear him honk. I hear him, give me the thanks. I give them the thanks. All our veterans, those that, are here.
Silva wasn't able to attend today's wreath-laying ceremony as it was private due to COVID-19 precautions, but later paid his respects along with the other thousands of people visiting the cemetery.
Different eras, different branches, but all headstones here have a similar story. They, along with their families, sacrificed and gave so much for the flag.
I don't know, but it's a small world. They sacrificed their life for us. So, when you walk around and look around, you're like, there's a lot of people that sacrifice for our freedom.
He, along with many military families, hope today's solemn tributes remind people, especially younger generations, of the true significance behind Memorial Day.
Kids don't understand what it means because they're too young. They don't understand why grandpa's not here or dad's not here. It's because of that, their sacrifice.
The ultimate sacrifice that friends, family, and a nation still mourn today. Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
I was in shock and in deep pain. I was just vaguely aware of where I was and who was out there in front of me.
Coming up tonight at 6, this man from San Antonio's pictures would be circulated around the world, intended to encourage the North Vietnamese army, but also to crush the morale of U.S. troops. Tonight, we're going to look back on the life of a San Antonio man who's the second oldest surviving American POW, an American hero with an amazing story still being told.
Weather-wise today, a mixture of sun and clouds, but more clouds than sun. 85 our high temperature after a morning low of 72. 85 being 5 degrees below average, a result of that extra cloud cover. 72 only in Rock Springs. Lakey at 75 degrees. Santa Maria at 87, where we have a little more sunshine. Temperatures are well into the 80s and even 90 degrees currently in New Braunfels, even 87 Universal City. What we're watching here as we go forward is development of thunderstorms off to the west and northwest of us. We're watching this. Some of that activity is likely to come together and then hit us later on tonight. So rain chances and storm chances increasing, especially after 9 p.m. We're going to talk more about this and what you can expect the rest of the week. Tim, it's remaining an active and messy weather pattern. Let's just put it that way for now.
We know you guys will be on top of it. Thank you, Adam. A new TikTok trend raising concerns after one teen was sent to the hospital. It involves setting alcohol on fire. And it's not the only dangerous challenge teens are attempting. ABC's Morgan Norwood explains the dangers of this particular challenge and why one mother says her watchful eye wasn't enough.
A TikTok trend apparently landing an Oregon teen in ICU.
I have parental controls on all her stuff. This still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough.
Kimberly Crane's 13-year-old daughter, Destiny, suffering third-degree burns on her neck and right arm. Her mother saying she tried to duplicate a TikTok video showing a person using alcohol to draw shapes on a mirror, then setting it on fire.
She screamed my name and opened the bathroom door, and her body was on fire.
Destiny expected to be in the hospital for at least 2 months. Her upper body bandaged, the teen now recovering from 3 skin grafting surgeries. This isn't the first time trendy TikToks have left children seriously injured. This so-called skull breaker challenge sparking concerns from doctors. And this Colorado boy dying in April after he tried to imitate a TikTok video that later turned into a challenge, showing people holding their breath until they black out.
People say all the time, just watch your kids closer if you have to. Like, they get mad at you. So what? Like, it's like your child's life can change instantly.
Kimberly doesn't blame TikTok. She blames users who upload these videos without any warning. TikTok tells ABC News they have not heard about this particular incident, but they have an entire safety section on their website and often give their videos warning labels. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, San Bernardino County.
As the month of May comes to an end, we are entering hurricane season. What experts are predicting this time around.
Plus, have recent hailstorms damaged your siding? Up next, we take a look at some different options that are both sturdy and cost-effective. We've all spent a lot of time inside our homes over the past year. Maybe it's time to start thinking about the outside. If you're considering new vinyl siding for your house, 12 on Your Side's Marilyn Moritz has the results of some tough tests against what the weather can throw your way.
Our wild and wacky weather like hailstorms could do a number on your home siding, leaving it dinged and damaged. So you want siding that can hold up to weather, protects against insects, and boosts your curb appeal. Compared to wood, Consumer Reports says vinyl and other siding alternatives are easier to maintain, and they cost less too.
Vinyl siding is never going to look exactly like wood, but manufacturers are creating new styles and textures for a more wood-like appearance, and they're doing the same thing with alternative sidings.
Those alternative sidings can cost $200 or more per 100 square feet. Vinyl, on the other hand, starts at about $100 per 100 square feet. To see which ones stand up to years of weathering, Consumer Reports put them to tough tests. simulating branches or debris hitting the home, testing them in warm and cold temperatures, and testing against high winds. For most homes, CR gave this all-side Charter Oak clapboard vinyl siding top ratings in wind and warm weather tests. It's $95 per 100 square feet.
If you're concerned that in winter your house might get battered by wind-blown branches or heavy objects, you might want to stick with wood or with fiber cement siding.
CR recommends this alternative siding from Certainteed. It costs about 3 times more than vinyl. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio may not be home to hurricanes, but elsewhere in Texas, people are privy to these types of storms. And tomorrow is marking the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, predicts there will be 13 to 20 named storms. About 6 to 10 will become hurricanes, and between 3 and 5 will be major hurricanes with winds of more than 110 miles per hour. Hurricane season runs from tomorrow through November 30th.
A slightly above average season predicted this year for hurricane season there. There's a live look outside. You can see maybe a little sprinkle off in the distance. I think it's just low clouds for the most part. I'm keeping an eye on the radar, and I don't see anything really popping up locally. Sometimes you get one of those stray little showers that just makes it one sweep of the radar, and that's about it, and that's what we could be seeing out there. So let's talk about our weather headlines. More storm chances tonight. An active weather pattern is going to remain in place, so get used to erratic storm chances and them popping up, coming and going periodically for at least the next 6-7 days. And the aquifer, though, it has loved this weather pattern. Now, I was just looking at it, and it's up over 20 feet since April 21st. Bingo, right there. And I know, unfortunately, some of the rain came at a cost, but it's also made a happy aquifer. All right, take a look at our the severe thunderstorm watches that are in effect. They're not included within our viewing area, but they're right on the edge of our area, off to the north and off to the northwest of us. That's where we're having the development out there right now. Widespread showers and thunderstorms, even, of course, some severe thunderstorms, even just around Big Bend area. Then you get up closer to Dallas. That's where we have the active warnings that are in place. The whole point of showing this and talking about it is that it's one of those situations again where we're watching that development off to the northwest of us. We're seeing how it's going to organize and then anticipating its movement southward into San Antonio later on tonight. Exact timing is a little iffy, but right now we're thinking mostly after midnight locally around here. But just west of Valverde County, we've got some thunderstorms that are pretty strong that are pushing down toward the Rio Grande. And that's where we could see the activity first along the border, Valverde County and parts of the Hill Country in the coming hours. Here's our FUTURECAST. This model, I think, has been the most reliable, so I like to consult with it. It's not going to be 100% accurate, okay? But it gives us a good representation. 9, 10 o'clock's activity likely, Valverde County, Del Rio area, Comstock, and even into parts of the Hill Country. Then we get closer to midnight, and that action starts to drift towards San Antonio. Some of this could be severe. I want to point that out. Some of this could be severe, but the odds favor that complex kind of weakening as it approaches the I-35 corridor. Nonetheless, notice 1 a.m., widespread action. I think a lot of heavy rainfall, so flash flooding is one of the primary concerns as we go through the night. And then by sunrise tomorrow, it moves along the coastal plain and it's out of here. So storm timeline for you here. Locally, about a 20 to 30% chance at 10 p.m. Midnight through 3 a.m. we're up to 60% chance. And then sunrise tomorrow back down to 30%. And that's going to be the case all day tomorrow, just a 30% chance. That's the way it looks now. 83 degrees currently, dew point is 69. Obviously, it's muggy outside. Southeasterly breeze at 15. 88 Carrizo Springs, 86 Gonzales, but stuck in the 70s in the Hill Country. A little extra cloud cover. So tonight we talked about those storm chances peaking locally around and a little after midnight. Then tomorrow a 30% chance throughout the day, 67 in the morning, 84 for the afternoon high temperature. But we have a lot to talk about for the rest of the week. Starting Wednesday, I'm anticipating daily pop-up afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Wednesday all the way through Friday. Typically the afternoon action, but we could get some leftover nighttime storms even here and there, even Wednesday night. And then that action just looks like some slow-moving heavy rain with some lightning and thunder. We get into the weekend, it's probably a little more organized. That's why we bumped up those storm chances. But not too hot as a result of this pattern.
At this rate, we're going to have the coolest summer ever. Thanks.
Yeah, now that you've said that, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Oops.
All right, Smithson Valley Baseball finally has some answers about its regional final schedule. Andrew?
That's right. They've been playing series up until this time, over the last couple weeks here. Now it's coming down to a single playoff game. When we come back, we'll tell you exactly who they're playing and when it all comes down. Plus, Judson softball's trip to state has been 20 years in the making. Got that too. Next.
We all really want this thing. This is what we want most. This is what we've been working for a really long time. So this is our goal.
The Rangers now know they're only one game away from a return to the UIL State Tournament in big board sports. Smithson Valley Baseball finally knows when and where they'll face Los Fresnos in the upcoming Class 6A regional final. The Rangers will head to Corpus Christi for a one-game playoff against the Falcons at Cabinets Field on Thursday. This will be new territory for this year's ball club. Smithson Valley has yet to play a one-game playoff this year, but they have come up with timely hitting throughout their playoff run. Question is, what do they know about Los Fresnos, especially after a team clinched their series victory last week in a one-game playoff of their own?
I know that they got a really good lefty on them now. Not a big kid, but throws really well. Going to have to do a little research on them. But they're a great baseball team. They wouldn't be in the regional finals if they weren't. They wouldn't be in the final 8 if they weren't a good baseball team.
This has always been our goal, so we've kind of been just ready for it. We're very excited now. We're going to go practice all week and get the job done, hopefully.
Here is the matchup, Smithson Valley against Los Fresnos with the Bertha State on the line. First pitch is Thursday at 4 p.m. in Corpus. We've reached the final week of the high school softball season, and the state tournament begins tomorrow in Austin. The Judson Rockets will be making the program's first appearance at Red and Charlene McCombs Field this Friday, and it has been a long time coming for head coach Teresa Urbanovsky. She led the Rockets for 20 years and was understandably emotional after Judson defeated Austin Bowie on Saturday to clinch their spot at state. Make no mistake, the team knows how special this moment is for her.
She deserves it the most. She's been in this program so long and she's built it to where, alumni has been here since like 20 years ago when she coached, and she makes the biggest impact in this thing. So we're doing this for her and of course to make us feel better, but for her it's just love wins at this point.
It's like the most proud moment that you can feel for your girls. They just love each other. And again, our motto is love wins, and they're doing it for each other, not for themselves.
Here is this week's state schedule. Judson will take on Rockwall in the Class 6A semifinals Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. And in the Class 1A semifinals, D'Hanis will look to defend their 2019 title against Gale Borden County. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. And KSAT 12 Sports will be there. So a great way to turn the calendar over to June. Plenty of action coming up in Austin.
Thank you, Andrew.
You got it.
We'll be right back. Thanks so much for watching the News at 5 with us.
World News is next. We'll see you back here for more local news at 6.